face. A fleet. A war. A man. A thought. A trick.
See. What? By Homer. Oh! This is the 1900 Samuel Butler translation, because it was in Greek before. And this was given to me by a friend, a good friend. Thank you very much. In preparation for the movie, which I have seen. So I'm not going to compare it right now, because that was based off of a different translation, which I kind of want to read too if it's that different. I don't know if it is. And the thing is, this is a reread because I'm pretty sure I read this in 9th grade, which was a while ago now. I'm not going to do that math, but it was... it was longer ago than Odysseus was away from Ithaca. More than 20 years ago. Yeah, that makes me feel old. This is a very cool copy, though. This is the... I think it's the Barnes & Noble Special Edition. Barnes & Noble something Special Edition from 2016. It's I like the coloring on it. There's no pictures, but it does have a little ribbon to keep my place, and just really nice copy. And it held up through a while of reading, because it did take me a while. Now, this is a classic, and I think everyone's forced to read it. There are some things in this that are a little boring. I think the first maybe quarter of the book, you hear a lot about how sacrifices are done and meals are prepared, and that was just not what I was looking for. But by the end of it, it was exciting. There's a saying that they kept repeating: tell me this and tell me true. And that's just basically like, hey, tell me this and don't tell me a lie, which seems like should be understood. But apparently back in the old days, you had to tell people not to lie to you. And apparently they would not lie if you asked them not to. Or maybe they eventually figured out that the liars are still going to lie, whether you want them to or not. There's also, I said we read this probably in 9th grade. A lot of people have read this in school. I found what is a sex scene. And let me read it to you, because I'm pretty sure the teachers did not point this out when I was a student. In this copy, it's on page 266. And it's pretty spicy. Are you ready? Oh, I should say, I don't know how to pronounce anything in Greek. And I read this to myself the whole time, so there are a lot of names I just skipped over, but I recognize them. There are some that I know, like Telemachus, Odysseus, Achilles, Agamemnon, Penelope, and there are a lot that I kind of made up that I was saying it in my head, but I was not. Okay, let's see here. Eurynome. Oh, that's not what I was even trying to read. When she had conducted them to their room, she went back, and they then came joyfully to the rights of their own old bed. Telemachus, Philoetius, and the swineherd now left off dancing, and made the women leave off also. They then laid themselves down to sleep in the cloisters. All right, now, so the rights of the joyful, they came joyfully to the rights of their own old bed. Spicy. Next paragraph, this is on 267. When Odysseus and Penelope had had their fill of love, they fell talking with one another. Wow. Well, that's just beautiful. So what is this? This is a fake war that's probably based off of a real war, and I looked up the time period and I've totally forgotten it. Homer is a generally, there's a lot of theories about Homer, and I did not get into many of them. Everything I did get into, I Googled. So there's no original academic work of my own here, but the Trojan War probably happened where Troy existed, or they believe it existed. There were a number of times that it was sacked, so I guess those walls weren't that good. And this covers really Odysseus's return from the Trojan War. He leaves Ithaca, his island that he is the king of, although I think a lower king, because Agamemnon is the king that gathered the Greek forces to attack Troy. Troy is in modern day Turkey on the coast. So Agamemnon's going around Greece, picking up loyal chieftains to bring their armies with him to attack Troy. This book, the time that Odysseus is away from home and his wife Penelope is 20 years. 10 years of that is going to and fighting Troy, and 10 years of that is his return trip and all the things that get in his way. And there are many things that get in his way because he pisses off one of the gods, Poseidon, who my daughter informed me was an older brother of Zeus. And I should have known that. I've taken how many classes about this? I don't know how many. But yeah, Zeus was the youngest of three, and the other two are Poseidon and Hades. No, that's not it. Is his name Hades? Fuck. No. Uh-oh. Oh no. Why am I blanking? See, this is what happens. The whole time I was reading this, I was like, when did I hear about that? Where did I read that? Where did I read about Oedipus? Where did I read about Achilles? Where did I read about all these other heroes and things that happened? And I don't remember any of it. I don't know. And everyone's name in Greek sounds the same to me. It's all a lot of letters, and some of them are a little different, so they're just a little bit different. And then there's like, oh, they're the son of or the daughter of, and you're like, okay, but who is that person important? They all sound important because I can't pronounce any of them. So they go off to war. They beat Troy. Brainchild of Odysseus is the Trojan horse, which got them inside the walls of Troy, and then they helped open the gates and let the rest of the army in. I did go to the movie and I got the Trojan horse popcorn bucket, so check that out. Pretty cool. That's at work now. It's on my desk at work, or above my desk at work. So he's going home, and they sack a couple places on the way home, which seems, I don't know, not great. But they're going around stealing women and children and killing everyone, and I don't know. That there are moments here where you're like, is that the hero kind of thing to do? Also, like, his men don't always listen to him, so sometimes you're kind of like, shouldn't people be listening to him if he is a hero? But it seems like either he screws up or his men ignore him and they screw up throughout this book, throughout this story. Where it really starts to blow up, though, is they go to an island and they find a cave, and in that cave is the Cyclops, something Polyphemus. And this is like a famous scene. How did they get out of the cave? Because he rolls the rock above or across the mouth of the cave, and eventually they poke out his eye. And spoiler alert, they poke out his eye. There's a bunch of spoilers in this. And then in the book, when he's leaving, he tells the Cyclops that his name is Odysseus. And in the movie, they don't do that, but I'm not going to talk about the movie. Why is that a problem? Well, he tricked the Cyclops originally by telling him that his name is Nomen. So when they poked his eye and he yelled out and his Cyclops neighbors came, they asked, who did this to you? And he said, no man did this to me. And they're like, oh, no man did this to you. And they left. Not in the movie, too. I think they've been a little goofy for the movie. But Odysseus tells him his name, and the problem is Cyclops is the son of Poseidon. And and Odysseus is trying to take a boat back. So there are major problems throughout after this. He goes to an island of giants who really destroy all of the boats. He meets up with Circe, kind of a witch who turns his shipmates into pigs, which is pretty cool. Pigs are cool, and they turn back, and then they go to an island that they're not supposed to eat any of it's the sun god's herds of cattle and maybe sheep or goats or something, and they're like, don't eat those or you will be screwed. And they do anyway, but they try not to. Like, they try not to, but they're starving and their boat can't leave, and eventually they do kill some of the cows and incur the wrath of Zeus, who basically has all of them die except for Odysseus. Odysseus is basically being protected by Athena, and Athena is changing forms throughout this book to help him along his way. I think she kind of feels like she's cheating at the end, because she's really screwing over all the suitors and she's really helping him out, but I guess they could do that kind of thing. But there are times where you're like, Odysseus could not have done this without Athena. He goes to Hades, and he meets up with Agamemnon, his mom, Achilles, Ajax, Oedipus. Hope Oedipus isn't with his mom. Who else is there? There's a lot of people there. There's also somebody who's telling him the future of what's going to happen. What else happens? Jeez. Oh, they have to go past the giant whirlpool, and then this like monster that's in the cliffs that picks people off. This is all happening throughout, but eventually they all die except for Odysseus. Odysseus ends up on an island, the island for the nymph. Oh, freak. What is her name? Calypso. And they have a good time. And still, he's there for 7 years with Calypso, and they're getting it on, I'm pretty sure, because he's taking off his clothes and going to hang out with her in bed. But he is pining for home and his wife while he's screwing Calypso. So eventually Athena's like, hey, he's got to go home. He really wants to go home. We've talked to Zeus. He's fine with him going home. Still, Poseidon is not too happy, so he's going to make it difficult and punish a lot of people on the way. He goes to, is it Phoenicia or something? I don't know. Phoenicians? Is that right? And they're the boat people close to the gods. And they entertain him for a while, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes home, and they drop him off, and then they are punished by Poseidon too, or by Zeus and Poseidon, something like that. While all this is going on, you also have Telemachus, Odysseus's son, who goes looking for news of him. They're not sure if he's dead or alive. It's been 20 years basically, and they're still not sure. Why is that important? Well, there are people showing up at Odysseus's house, his fortress kind of, and they are trying to marry his wife to take all his property, and they probably want to kill Telemachus too, but they want to bury Telemachus, marry Penelope, and she is holding them off as long as she can. But what happens? Odysseus comes home and he looks like a beggar, and they have this big trick having to do with stringing his bow, which nobody else can do except for him, because it's really, I could probably do it, but it's really hard for most other people. And yeah, and then he shoots it through some axes, and it's like, ta-da! I'm Odysseus. And they're like, thank goodness you're not Oedipus. Oh, you motherfucker. Literally. So, yeah, they didn't actually say that. But they do say there are a couple words in here that I was not prepared for. It is translated. Slut. Was not prepared for slut to pop up in the Odyssey. And hussies. Who would have guessed? Oh, yeah. So Odysseus kills them all. Then there's a bunch of people in town that want to come and kill him. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Athena. And Athena's like, hey, guys, maybe you shouldn't. And then they don't. And that's it. That's how it ends. Pretty anticlimactic. The killing scenes are pretty good. There's a lot of focus on people hitting their foreheads on the ground when they die. There's a lot of spear action. It's not quite the John Wick experience I was expecting in the book. He does make some errors. He's not totally confident. He's getting a lot of help from Athena. And yeah, so it was great. It took me a while to read. I'm really happy that I read it. I didn't read it in time for the movie, but I'd read far enough that I knew what was going on. And yeah, so I do kind of want to read the other translation, the Emily Wilson translation or whatever, but I'm not sure how different that'll be. This definitely felt older, some of the language, and I don't know if that's just translations or if that's because the translation is, 126 years old too. Who knows? But that's it. The Odyssey by Homer. There it is. What a beautiful book. Thank you again so much to my friend for giving this to me. And check out the movie. I really like the movie. Check out the book if you haven't read it. I think everyone has, but if you haven't, it's an interesting read. And if I do read that other translation and it's different enough from this, then maybe I'll do another review and almost compare that translation to this translation. But we'll see. We'll see. This is dated. I felt the need while I was reading this to see what was real and what wasn't real. Is this a real person? Is this historic fiction? What? I just didn't remember any of that from school. I'm not saying that I believe in the Greek gods. No, I believe in one God. God, with the big G. But, yeah, I just didn't know the people, if they were real or not, or if the places were real or not, or where they are now. So that's what I would have liked to have had a map or something. All right, so tell me this and tell me true. Do you think you're going to read this book or watch the movie? Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.